Welcome, welcome, welcome. I say welcome back to Projects and Podcast. It's official. We've named it Projects and Podcast. That's the feedback I got from our initial Projects and Podcast when I was searching for a name. And it's gotten the best feedback as far as names go. So that's what we'll call it. This is episode or edition 2. This week we'll be talking about a little project I did, a little backpack I did for a friend. Subject matter for this week was Boyz N the Hood. Boyz N the Hood was the face of the shirt, and then it ended up being the face of the backpack. We had a friend model the outfit first. You'll see her at the beginning of the video. Thank you, Sarah. And then the person who received the gift, Megan, at the end of the video. We'll tie it all in together. So this project and podcast will kind of tie up some loose ends from the last show when I referenced the San Francisco 49ers and the Lakers. That show was a bucket hat. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and take a look at it. This episode will just tie up some of those loose ends and also talk about our new project, the backpack that I did. So in the last show, Projects and Podcasts, we tried to touch on a couple subjects regarding the Lakers and the 49ers, since they were the subject of the project. And at that time, the Lakers were 0-4 at the time of that recording, and the 49ers were 3-4. Since that time, the Lakers lost another game, so that put them at 0-5, and then subsequently won a game. So at a beautiful 1-5. And the 49ers ended up winning their game last Sunday, and that took them to 4-4. So now the 49ers are at 500, and the Lakers have lost 5 games and only won 1 game. So the Lakers is a old story. It's not nothing really new. They have to really figure out their rotation. This week, it looks like Russ is coming off the bench. And that might be a good fit for the team just because he might not be able to share minutes and share time the same way a role player could. Say LeBron and AD are on the floor, it might not be a good spot for Russ to have to be the other head of the snake. Like that 3-headed monster might not work in that situation. However, if he's the heavy on the floor where, he's the most talented player out there, it might work better with how his game is constructed, and let the game come to him. Assists and putting players in position, those players have to score for you to be successful in the assist category. But with the points, Russ hadn't been scoring too many points, but I think the last game he scored 18 points off the bench. That's just me hearing hearsay because I wasn't up to date on that game. I didn't check that game out. I normally check out most games, or at least have some firsthand knowledge. But I think he scored decent off the bench. I think his efficiency was a little bit better than it had been as a starter. So hopefully they find the niche with their supporting cast and their role players to fit Russ in. Now to AD. AD definitely has been playing decent of late, but I referenced in the last video that he had got upended and fell on his back. So that's proven to be his Achilles heel is getting hurt more often than other players do. And he looks like he's going to be out with back strain and back soreness, at least for the upcoming game. If not out, limited minutes, but if they don't have to play him, they probably won't. So his performances have been almost AD style performances, but with his range of motion limited, it it might be better that he sit out a couple of games just to get his back straight. We don't need him right now to do anything that we're not doing. We're not winning with him. It's better to sit him and try to get a couple of wins or eke out a couple of wins without putting him in a situation that might end up worse for him in the end. And if it ends up worse for him, it's going to end up worse for the Lakers. So just not load management, but just watch his minutes. And LeBron has been LeBron. I mean, been playing well, getting his teammates involved, being a great teammate, even when players don't play up to their potential. He has not thrown people under the bus, and not directly anyways, not, in the media, let's say. But, LeBron is always puppet master behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens in the coming year with the roster changes that they'll have to make, because they'll have to make some changes. I mean, we have to get some shooting and defense, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get both. If we can only have one, give me a little bit of shooting, because that's how LeBron teams win anyways, is with shooting around him, because he's a facilitate first person. So that's the Lakers in a nutshell. The 49ers this week is a whole different story. I referenced Christian McCaffrey in the last video and whether or not he'd be able to come in and be serviceable or be healthy. And if he is able to stay healthy, then, he could put up some good numbers. But, I mean, nobody expected this. He threw for a tub, he ran for one, and he caught one. So that hasn't been done in a while. Super talented guy. I don't know that this is going to be an every week thing. Defenses are going to scheme against him, especially seeing what schemes the offense has for him. And once the run game gets going, it opens up the passing game. And Ayuk, he played well. I think he had one TD this week and multiple receptions. So, it just opens up the field for everybody else to go off, for Kittle to go off. He caught one. And they're going to be dangerous because they have so many weapons in so many different positions. I mean, weapons on top of weapons. So, but I'm not saying that handing the Super Bowl or the NFC West or the NFC in general, the division. I don't think that it's just going to be a walkthrough. I mean, Green Bay is struggling this year, which is surprising, but we got to get there first, and we got multiple teams to go through to get there. We've gone through the Rams, but the Rams, they don't go away quietly. They put together decent seasons, and I mean, if they end up being a 10-win team, other teams in their division have to compete with that, and that's us. We'd have to compete with that. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. We're only 4-4. We're only 500. So we definitely have to put together a couple more games to not make ourselves clear, but just be a little bit more comfortable with our position. So that's the 49ers and the Lakers wrap up for the week. Maybe I'll do another Laker project or Niner project, and Laker Niners for me because those are my squads, but that'll give me an excuse to talk about them in future weeks. So to this week's project, the backpack. So Sarah, why are we shooting today?
Because we're going to make something beautiful for a friend.
Something beautiful for a friend, huh?
Beautiful for a friend, yes.
Very cool.
Use something as the focal point. glass of joy.
Very sweet.
Yes.
Very sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A friend of ours, Megan, her birthday was this past month. And my other half, she said, well, I want to give her a gift. I don't know what I want to give her. Could you make her something? And, I've been making a lot of projects lately, so I was happy to do it. So she bought a t-shirt for her, and we were just going to cut the t-shirt up and, make it the subject of the project. So, and that was before I was really doing projects and podcasts. I was just I was still putting my projects up on one-off bills on my YouTube page, but and my Instagram and stuff like that. But I wasn't really doing this setup or this platform, this style of projects and podcasts yet. So I had already done the backpack way before I had this idea to talk about it afterwards. And now that the bag is done, I don't have it to show you, but you'll see it in the video. So the project being the backpack and the subject being Boyz N the Hood, I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know whether to talk about the characters in the show or in the movie, or I didn't want it to be a movie review. I mean, who of us hasn't seen Boyz N the Hood? And if you haven't seen it, it's probably because you didn't want to see it. No judgment there. But Boyz N the Hood is 30 years old, 31 years old. It's a cult classic. Like, it's part of our culture. So, like, whether to talk about Lawrence Fishburne as an actor, Cuba as an actor, Morris Chestnut, or where they were then and where they are now, is that a compelling subject matter? It's so many people: Angela Bassett, Nia Long, Ice Cube. It was a movie that had so many cultural references and so many things that still apply to us today, from gentrification. They talk about, black families, the father not being in the home or being an active parent. Well, in that movie, there was some of that, but as a lead, Lawrence Fishburne, him and his ex weren't together, but he was a very active father, very active black father, and active in the community and active in the neighborhood. So it's just so many things that we still talk about now that were relevant to that movie. And I didn't know how to really approach it. So many different angles you can approach the film. So now, I guess the easiest angle for me to take on the film is how, from 2022 to 1991, how similar the times are. In that 31-year span, so much of the things that were going on in that movie that we were looking to change or to reference, to give some light to issue some change, some of those things are getting worse. I mean, gang violence in the 90s, there's nothing like gang violence in the 80s and the 90s, but gang violence has been prevalent since then, of course. Gentrification, which was a theme in the movie, and ownership and black father's relationship with his son, or father's relationship with his ex, or man's relationship with his ex, friendship, brotherly love, brothers feuding, all of those things were present in that movie. Having children early, or having a child as a very young man. That was the case with Cuba. having an individual like Morris Chestnut who was doing all of the right things and got cut down early. That still, all of those things still happen, and maybe we shouldn't be surprised that all of those things happen. Maybe it's just a standard cycle in life that things repeat themselves. But some of those things, as a community, of course, we're looking to change. We're looking to change the gun violence. We're looking to change gang violence and gang activity. We're looking to be a more educated, I'm speaking from perspective of a black man, a more educated group of people for basically being to take our families from where they are to where we want them to be. So that film just I don't want to go too deep into each of the subject matters. Just as the projects and podcasts, just to reference some of the issues that were themes in that movie, and how our project related to that. It was a friend of ours, Megan. It was her birthday gift, and it was a movie that she really likes. So hopefully we'll have other projects to do that we can speak more in depth about. I'm not sure if you guys have any ideas for me, what types of projects we could do, and then from a project come up with subject matter for the podcast, or what type of podcast we can do, and from that come up with projects for that podcast to fit in. It could be either or, which one came first, chicken or the egg type thing. So far it's been whatever project I do, I lead in with the project, and then I come up with the podcast after. And when I say podcast, I mean just a little one man, not even show, just a little talk about things that are relevant to that project. Hopefully, moving forward, we can have guest hosts. That way we can have a little bit of banter, see who we have or who I have a good on camera back and forth with. So a couple of friends of mine I have in mind, a couple of them have podcasts that they've started. So I'm sure I'll do theirs, and they'll do mine, and we'll try to grow that way. And let me know what you guys think. If you like the format, if you don't like the format, if there's something I can change, I'm really all ears, because I don't have it mapped out yet. I don't have a script that I'm going from yet. And maybe a script would be a good idea, just because it'll give me a little bit of talking points to keep myself online. But I'm having a conversation with you. So each project will be different, because it's hard to just, come up with issues surrounding whatever project I make. I mean, it's not like with this backpack. I can talk about the movie and all the things that happen in the movie and do a movie review. But is that what you want to hear? I don't know that I do, so I don't think you do either. There's plenty of movie reviews out there. I would definitely be more interested in, like I said, talking about some of the issues surrounding some of the characters in the movie, or maybe even taking a specific issue and talking about that issue for the duration of that particular show or that particular podcast. Like, for instance, if we were going to talk about Furious Styles, Furious Styles, played by Lawrence Fishburne. He was Trey's father. You guys seen the movie, he was Trey's father, and he was present in his son's life, but he needed to be more physically present, and or Angela Bassett was looking for him to be more physically present. So just to keep order, keep his son in line, and that showed in the movie. That showed that that push and pull, that tug, that you've been shown the right way. Your father did things the right way. He's looking for you to do things the right way. And some of the people you grow up with and the directions that they go. And how that's kind of like a tug of war. It was a tug of war for Q, but as he grew up to be a man, it was difficult to abide by all of the things his father said. And but Furious Styles, he talked to the kids in the neighborhood. He talked to the families in the neighborhood. He, spoke about gentrification. Gentrification has been a major hot topic. I mean, of late, even with the stadium going in LA, moving people out of their homes. I mean, people are getting paid, but what happens is they move you out and they move big business in, and business begets a more affluent community. When you have businesses in an area that are higher end, they need people in that community that make more money to support those businesses that are higher end. Whether that be a football team and all of the things that come with it, restaurants, movie theaters, all of the things that come with the stadium coming to your city. And it's not just right at the stadium. I mean, it's felt through miles away from the stadium. Miles and miles is like a ripple effect, a pebble thrown in a pond, and how it reverberates. It just hits. I mean, 5, 7, 10 miles away from the stadium, because it's close enough to the stadium to live and go to work. Close enough to the stadium for players to live in the area. Gentrification has been like a hot topic. And in that movie, that was a big issue. And they were in LA at the time, 30 years ago. This is before a whole bunch of big teams moved back into the city. Like, say, Inglewood, for instance. Inglewood has, if you're from LA or you're from, LA County, the areas are definitely changing. People are moving into different areas that wouldn't normally be there, walking their dogs, that you're surprised to see certain people. I'm from Long Beach, California, so I don't go to LA that much, but when I do, it's a different experience now than from when I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like, I didn't see then what I see now. So that the movie Boyz N the Hood spoke to that issue, specifically spoke to that issue. So hopefully I'll find other ways to talk about topics and issues surrounding whatever project I'm doing. And like I said, pick a particular character, like I just spoke about Furious Styles and his relatability still today. So thank you for checking our channel out, checking my channel out. Hopefully I have some more content for you coming up soon. If you have a project that you would like to see me do, and I'm gonna try to do some more intricate projects. I used to do a lot of carpentry, a little bit of welding, just anything to create. I used to do a lot of that, but recently I've been sewing a lot more because mainly my sons, with their school schedule and needing a little bit more flexibility, carpentry and welding and all of those things take a lot of time, like a lot of time. And if you want to do it well, you have to put a lot into it. Sewing, it's something that I've found that it does take time to do, but it's something that I can pick up and put down and pick up and put down. I can start a project and then go get my son from school, or I can come back home after I pick him up and, you know, finish a bag I started earlier in the day, or you know, do some house duties and then get right back to working. Working at home, it's given me that latitude, but sewing is the only thing that I've found that I can just do, drop, pick back up. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more time in the coming weeks and months to do some more projects, some more carpentry, some more metal work. Because I really haven't done that many projects that I filmed for the channel anyways. I really wasn't doing that yet while I was doing all of my carpentry. I hadn't started filming. I hadn't started the YouTube process. I hadn't started any Instagram at that point. So now I'm just trying to grow and make some time for those wood projects, whether they be games or furniture restoration, and or just standard furniture building, like making tables and chairs and things like that. I haven't done that in a couple of years. Well, I've done a couple of projects, but not heavy into it. So you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what projects you want to see. Thank you for your time. Projects and Podcasts. See you next time.
I know what went into that.
Oh my god.
Thank you. Oh my god. Did Doug make it?
He did.
Oh my god, I love it. Look at
Isn't that perfect?
It's so perfect. I knew it. I love it.